Now, having fluidity between both hands is an important skill, and it also, as you'll see later on in this chapter, has some real practical advantages, both in improvising and also just, in your general accompaniment and arrangements on the piano. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to play the C minor 5-finger scale in the left hand, and then I'm going to play it in the right hand. So I start in the left hand, then I move up to the right hand, and then I come down to the left hand. Okay? And now, a couple of things to focus on. You're trying to listen between the hands and get a nice, even balance between the hands. So if you wouldn't want to do something like this. Or do. See how the dynamics are different between the hands, the speed is different between the hands. Also watch out for those thumbs. Okay, and the pinkies. You're trying to get nice and loose and relaxed. And then you also want to make it so that cross between is nice and fluid, so you're not doing this. It should all be this one, just a slur right over the whole thing. Okay, and you can end there, all right, or you can just keep going. On D. Notice also what I'm doing with that left hand. It's almost like I'm conducting in a way. I'm trying to stay nice and loose. It's almost like I'm painting, Okay, so feel free to move those hands and stay nice and loose. And you'll notice when you're improvising, you can start to bring in that left hand into your improvisation. See how I like bringing that left hand in for a couple of notes. So I'm just using that as an example. There is a MIDI file, so if you want to see more of what I was just doing there, you can get that MIDI file for that chapter. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is how I can use that left hand in my improvisation. The left hand doesn't have to be relegated just to playing chords. You play chords only, that's it, or a bass line. It's like, no, you can do more melodic stuff with that left hand. This is a great way of starting to bring in that left hand for a melodic function. Now, you can also do something like, here's a D minor 7 flat 5 chord, G7 with a sharp 9 to a flat 9, and I end on C minor. See how I can also do this cross hand? I can throw down a little bit of pedal. So you see how I cross over that hand? That's a nice exercise to practice as well. Remember also we can do something like this. I'll get into the full scale later, but you can take these scales and start to break them up between the hands as well, which, like I said, I'll talk about that later. But for right now, just try doing C minor and D minor over here in the right hand. Or what you can also do is notice this is not quite D minor. What I'm doing is I'm putting in the E flat there so that it matches that C a little bit better. I'm not going to talk about, I don't have this one written down, but this is a nice one as well. The root, the 11th, the 5th, and the roots. So C, F, G, C. I mean, you hear that speed and the fluidity that we're trying to create. These are exercises that will help. And actually, this is all very practical. This is stuff that you can bring into your improvisation and arrangements pretty quickly. You know that? I know a lot of you like those fills and runs. Well, there you go. There's a nice fill, run right there. Okay? And then you can also, do that same thing in the left hand. Okay, you can try working on that. But it's all based around this concept of moving between the hands. That's the main thing that you want to focus on. Focus on that. It's moving between the hands, getting the fluidity between the hands. Do an F major. That's another interesting thing. Go down and then up with the other hand. That's interesting. That's challenging, especially on that E flat. Try doing the focus exercise. Going down to the thumb, coming up to the thumb. That target. Nice and loose, just focusing on the targets. All right, so anyway, see you in the next chapter.